The summer sun blazed down on the quiet suburban street, making the pavement shimmer like glass. A little boy, no older than 8, stood at the corner, his small hands carefully arranging plastic cups on a wobbly folding table. His lemonade stand wasn't anything fancy, just a handmade sign with crooked letters spelling out fresh lemonade, 50 C/, and a plastic jug filled to the brim with golden yellow liquid. But in his heart, it was his empire. With a determined look, he wiped his forehead, took a deep breath, and waved at passing cars. Most drivers barely glanced his way, too caught up in their own lives. Some smiled, a few even honked encouragingly, but no one stopped. He glanced down at the few coins he had collected so far. Not much, not nearly enough. But he wasn't just selling lemonade for fun. He had a goal, a big one, something important. Then out of nowhere, the deep rumble of an approaching car made him look up. It wasn't just any car. It was sleek, black, and expensive looking, the kind you only saw in movies or parked outside fancy hotels. It slowed down right in front of him, and for a moment, his heart pounded in his chest. The tinted window rolled down smoothly, revealing a man in a crisp, tailored suit. He had sharp eyes, the kind that had seen the world, and a watch on his wrist that looked like it cost more than the boy's entire house. "Lemonade, huh?" the man asked, his voice calm but curious. The boy nodded quickly. "Yes, sir, freshly made. Only 50 cents a cup." The man chuckled softly, as if something about the moment amused him. He reached into his pocket, pulled out his wallet, and the boy watched, wide-eyed, as the man held up a crisp $100 bill. "I'll take one," the man said, his gaze steady. The boy's mouth dropped open. $100? For a single cup of lemonade? His fingers trembled as he poured the drink, suddenly terrified of spilling even a drop. He carefully handed it over, his small hand brushing against the man's much larger one. The billionaire took a slow sip. His expression didn't change. For a few seconds, the boy couldn't tell if the man liked it or not. His stomach twisted in nervous knots. Then the man placed the cup down on the dashboard, leaned slightly toward the boy, and asked a question that would change everything. "Why are you really out here selling lemonade?" And just like that, the boy's carefully rehearsed sales pitch crumbled. He looked down at his sneakers, scuffed and dusty. His throat felt tight. He could have said anything, just for fun, or to make some extra money. But something about the man's steady gaze made him tell the truth. And the truth was bigger than just lemonade. But before he could answer, another car pulled up behind the billionaire's. A honk, impatient. The moment shattered. The man glanced at the rearview mirror, then back at the boy. "We'll talk later," he said. Then, without another word, he put the car in gear and drove off, the $100 bill still lying on the boy's stand like a secret waiting to be told. The boy watched the car disappear down the street, his heart still pounding. What just happened? Who was that man? And more importantly, would he really come back? The boy stood there, staring at the $100 bill like it was a mirage. The summer heat pressed down on him, but he barely noticed. His heart was racing. Had that really just happened? A billionaire, a real-life billionaire, had stopped at his lemonade stand. And not only that, he had asked a question. A question that dug deeper than the simple cups of lemonade he was selling. "Why are you really out here?" He gulped, looking around, as if someone would step in and tell him what to do next. But the street was just as quiet as before. A few cars passed, a couple of people walked by without a second glance, and life moved on like nothing had changed. But for him, everything had. Still gripping the bill, he stuffed it carefully into a small tin box beneath the table, right next to a few crumpled dollar bills and scattered coins. Then, taking a deep breath, he went back to doing what he had been doing all afternoon, selling lemonade. Only now, his mind wasn't fully in it. Would the man really come back? And if he did, what would the boy even say? As the hours passed, the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the pavement. The neighborhood grew quieter, the warmth of the day fading into the cooler embrace of the evening. His lemonade jug was almost empty now, and the small tin box was a little heavier. But it still wasn't enough. He counted the money again, just to be sure. Then again, he sighed. Not enough. Not yet. Just as he was about to start packing up, a familiar deep rumble filled the air. His head snapped up. The car, the sleek black vehicle, rolled up to the curb once more. The same smooth motion, the same effortless presence. The boy straightened up, hands gripping the edges of the table. The window slid down, revealing the billionaire's calm, unreadable expression. Still here, the man observed. The boy nodded quickly. Yeah. A pause. The man tilted his head slightly. So, are you going to tell me? The boy hesitated. Then, with a deep breath, he decided. My mom, he said quietly. She's sick. The hospital bills, they're a lot. I just wanted to help. For the first time, the man's expression changed, ever so slightly. A flicker of something in his eyes. Understanding, maybe. Or something deeper. The boy looked down, suddenly embarrassed. I know it's not much, he mumbled. But I thought if I sold enough, I could do something. At least a little. The man leaned back in his seat, fingers tapping against the steering wheel. He didn't speak right away, and for a moment, the boy wondered if he had said too much. Then finally, the man asked, How much do you need? The boy hesitated. He had never actually said the number out loud before. A lot, he admitted. More than I could make selling lemonade. But I had to try. The man was silent again. Then, without warning, he reached into his glove compartment and pulled out something small, flicking it onto the table. The boy looked down. A business card. My assistant's number is on there, the man said. Call her tomorrow. I want to help. The boy's eyes widened. Wait, really? The man simply gave a small nod. Sometimes trying is all that matters. Most people don't even do that. And with that, he rolled up the window and drove away, leaving the boy standing there, heart pounding, business card clenched tightly in his hand. But even as excitement rushed through him, there was a small, nagging voice in the back of his mind. Why would a billionaire care about a kid selling lemonade? And what exactly did he mean by help? He had no idea. But he was about to find out. That night, the boy could barely sleep. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, the billionaire's business card resting on his nightstand like some kind of golden ticket. A part of him still couldn't believe it was real. Maybe he had imagined it. Maybe when he called the number tomorrow, it wouldn't work. But deep down, something told him this was real. The next morning, with his heart pounding, he picked up his mom's old cell phone and dialed the number. It rang twice before a calm, professional voice answered. Mr. Calloway's office. How may I assist you? The boy swallowed hard. Hi. He told me to call. Yesterday, at my lemonade stand. A brief pause. Then, you must be Nathan. His breath caught. You know my name. Mr. Calloway remembers things that matter, the assistant said smoothly. Can you come to his office today? Office? The boy's hands tightened around the phone. Sure. But I don't. I don't have a way to get there. No problem. A car will pick you up at noon. And just like that, the call ended. Nathan could hardly believe it. He quickly told his mom, who was still resting in bed. her face tired but full of curiosity. She gave him a weak smile. "Be careful, sweetheart, and be polite." At exactly noon, a sleek black car pulled up in front of his house. The driver, dressed in a neat suit, opened the door for him. Nathan slid inside, his stomach twisting with nerves. When they arrived at a towering glass building downtown, he felt even smaller than before. The lobby was massive, filled with people in suits walking around like they belonged there. And then, standing near the elevator, was the billionaire himself, Mr. Calloway. Nathan hesitated, but the man gave a small nod. "Come on in, kid." He followed him into a huge office on the top floor, with windows overlooking the entire city. It felt like stepping into another world. Mr. Calloway leaned against his desk. "So, Nathan, let's talk." The boy clutched his hands together, unsure of what to say. The billionaire studied him for a moment before speaking. "You remind me of myself," he said finally. "When I was your age, I was hustling too. Not lemonade, but I did what I could to help my family." Nathan blinked. "You weren't rich." A small smirk. "Far from it." He crossed his arms. "But I learned something early on. Effort matters. You didn't sit around waiting for someone to fix things for you. You took action. That's rare." Nathan shifted on his feet. "But I didn't make enough. It still wasn't going to help." Mr. Calloway tilted his head. "Didn't it?" Nathan frowned, confused. "You were never going to pay off hospital bills with lemonade money," the billionaire said. "But you showed initiative. You showed heart. And that's worth investing in." Nathan's breath caught. Investing. Mr. Calloway reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a folder. "I want to help your mom. I can cover her medical bills." The boy's eyes went wide. "W what?" "But," the man continued, "I don't do charity. I do opportunity." He tapped the folder. This isn't just a donation. It's a challenge." Nathan swallowed hard. "What kind of challenge?" "A scholarship," Mr. Calloway said simply. "I'll make sure your mom gets the care she needs. And in return, you keep working hard. Keep learning. Keep chasing something bigger." Nathan felt his legs go weak. "You mean you believe in me?" The billionaire's expression softened slightly. "Kid, you already believed in yourself. I'm just making sure you have the tools to prove yourself right." Tears burned in Nathan's eyes, but he quickly wiped them away. His chest felt too full, like his heart was beating too fast for his body to keep up. "Thank you," he whispered. Mr. Calloway smiled. "Don't thank me yet. Just promise me one thing." Nathan nodded quickly. "Anything." "One day, when you make it, find another kid selling lemonade and do for them what I'm doing for you." Nathan grinned, a real, bright, hopeful grin. "Deal." As he left the office, stepping back into the world that suddenly felt so much bigger and full of possibilities, he realized something. Sometimes, selling lemonade isn't about lemonade at all. Sometimes it's about proving that you're willing to try. And when you do, the right people notice.